And I got my Maytag engine here. And here's the flywheel. I gotta, I don't know why I said I gotta, because I'm having my buddy Rob do it for me. He's got the machine shop here. He's got the machine shop big enough to fit that flywheel in there, and I don't.
I guess I'll have to turn the jaws in.
Okay. So he's gonna bore a 7/8 hole in there. I think that's what it is. He's micing it now.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit under. So
Yeah,
maybe.
I was gonna say that's where the difference is. He's gonna do it right, and I was gonna put a 7/8 hole.
We're gonna go from fractional to decimal here. So we're at 873. So we'll make that flywheel 874. We can get it in there. How you holding that flywheel on there now?
I'm going to put a gib key.
You're going to put a gib key in?
Yeah.
All right, that means you need a caper key. Boy, you keep adding work to this. Well, then you got a problem, because then you got to have the key coming out to the end so you can drive it in. So we might have to do a little rethink on how you're doing that.
Okay. Well, then we might have to thread the end later on and
you might
put a bolt, nut and bolt.
Yeah, it might be changing something here.
Okay.
You know?
Well, it's only gonna be a little putt engine. We're not gonna drive anything. So.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? If we goof this up, you're going to have to go on for side of the road furnishings to find another piece of exercise equipment to get another flywheel.
I know. Okay. We'll worry about that when the time comes.
Okay.
All right. For now, we'll just go with a straight keyway
7/8 hole.
Right.
Okay.
All right. And we'll work around that.
All right.
All right. Let him set up here. All right. We got the flywheel in this machine. This engine's huge. The lathe. I called it an engine, didn't I?
It's an engine lathe. So that would be the technical term.
All right. Here you go.
He's
trying to make me sound smart now.
Yeah. This is a 1943 Model X Lodge and Shipley.
Let me show him this.
This was their top of the line lathe.
Right.
This has what is it? What is this thing? It's 24 speeds on a single speed motor. I mean, this was a Cadillac lathe. Even cuts metric threads. Which is really odd for something that old. It's been sitting here since 1966.
Wow, this thing is huge.
And it's a very nice operating lathe.
It says 22-inch lathe, but
it'll swing about 26. I mean, that catalog was always a little smaller.
Right.
It's box ways, so it has a typical V-way lathe, and if V-way and a flat way, you only have X amount of bearing surfaces. This one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 wearing surfaces for the bed. This was my grandfather's favorite lathe.
Oh yeah, I can see why. All right,
Rob. I'm on the fence about it being my favorite, but it's a nice running lathe. And we're going to indicate this flywheel in here. I got my very old Federal indicator that's probably been through about 3 world wars the way it looks, but it keeps right on ticking. It's outlasted a lot of imported Chinese indicators. So we're going to indicate this around. Yeah, looks like we got to pull it one way. I only kind of approximately stuck it in there. So we'll just flip things around. Reasonably close in that direction to start. Now we're going to pull this one back a little bit.
Initially, I was only going to have him bore a hole in there because I couldn't do that, but now he wants to.
Every little project always gets into a little more and a little more, Well, we can face the size because it's a rough casting, and it's 15 thousandths out of parallel. So, once we get this in and we get a couple of surfaces square, it's real easy to get the back side done too because we're right here.
So he wants to make a real flywheel out of this.
Yeah. So what we're going to do here is we started out with a little molehill, and we're going to have a mountain when we're done.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think you're doing? You're just protecting your reputation because if someone says. Who made that?
Yeah, as I say, I put my name because Road King's going to tell everybody who made this thing, and it's and if it's all messed up, I'm going to get the blame for it.
He's going to lose work.
Because I ain't there to defend myself.
That's cool. I trust whatever you do, Rob.
Yeah. Of course, would you know if it was wrong?
No, I wouldn't. But I do. I can recognize a wobble.
A wobble?
It's a trained eye.
You were qualified to identify a wobble.
That's about it.
Oh. Was there some school degree or something you can get for identifying a wobble?
No, that's just years of training.
Years of experience. That's on-the-job training. Exactly. I know and recognize a wobble. All right. Well, if I spin this really fast, can you still see the wobble?
I can, and that looks pretty good.
All right. Well, you got about 3 thousandths of wobble total because the thing ain't quite round. When it started life as the exercise machine, the rubber wheel rolled on it. It probably egged it slightly. but I think it'll be okay for the project.
I was gonna say, it'd probably be easier for you to make one from scrap.
From scrap? We are making one from scrap. Or do we make one from scrap, or do we make it and then scrap it, one way or
I
another?
don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
All
Alright,
right,
now we gotta wake the squirrels up.
how many phases is this? 3 phase?
3 phase.
Oh.
10 horsepower.
Alright. Let me go get another battery in case this one dies on us. Yeah, now you can see the wobble. Let me go to the other side.
You can see the wobble. I mean, it's not too bad on the casting. Once I machine the sides, that'll kind of go away.
Oh yeah. You see, now that's probably going faster than the engine would go.
I don't know. That's only that's on 294.
Probably about the same.
Now what we want to do is we want to make sure that hole's going to be under 7/8, otherwise we just made scrap. So we're going to go get a stick with numbers.
Okay. Alright. Put a little pilot hole in there.
7/8, so we can go ahead and drill that hole. Because you never know. Sometimes the drill will walk a little bit.
Yeah.
If you're not enough undersize, you got a problem. Then you learn how to bush things. But you don't tell nobody.
No.
You just do it and hide it. But you know, this way here, nice to be safe. Closer. Now we got a hole. Drill out of there, and we're going to put a boring bar in there. Clean that up a little bit.
He's got a boring bar in here now. What's that going to bring it to, Rob?
Well, we're going to clean up that hole. We've got a 20 thousandths or so to take out of it. So I like to use an indicator on here because the dial's so worn.
Right.
And you can see what you're doing a little bit better. It is a boring job.
This is our third cut, and the next one will probably be the finished cut. Was that you gonna bore it?
Gonna bore it to size, yeah. Well,
Ream it, I meant.
Well, no, I don't have an 874 reamer, so I have to bore it to size. I mean, I got 875, but that'll be 2 thousandths loose on the hole.
Right.
To the shaft. And yeah, it probably will work, but I'd like to see it a little tighter than that, so we'll try to sneak up on it. Sometimes you gotta watch boring bars, they may push a little away, and then you take your final cut. Oops, it's 1 thousandth too big.
And then it's scrap metal.
Yeah, then it's scrap. It started as scrap and it's back as scrap. You know?
Right.
Now we got to be careful with this here, and everybody's going to see this here flywheel being done. They're going to raise the price of used exercise equipment to salvage these flywheels out here and make these engines. So you know
We'll have to corner the market.
You got to corner that market. So you got to run around with your truck, and every time that somebody develops, usually about mid-January is good. Everybody makes their New Year's resolution to get exercises. And they buy one of these, and after 2 weeks they're tired of it. It's out front for free.
Yeah, or else inside there's a coat rack.
Yeah.
Alright, you made your finished cut?
It's finished cut. Try the plug gauge.
Wow. Went in like it had eyes. Alright, we got the hole done. Now he's going to give it 2 face cuts and add all the balance it and everything else.
I don't know about balance.
Well, keep it from wobbling. Keep it from wobbling.
Wobble out
to the average eye.
The wobble. The camera holder is the wobble expert. He's going to see that if I made it in wobbles, he's going to complain. So we're going to make it not wobble as much.
Hey.
I'm going to use an old high-speed steel tool bit here, so it doesn't give it that shiny glazed carbide cut look, because it is an old engine type project where sometimes the machine work looks a lot nicer if it's old style machine work as opposed to modern machine.
Gonna make it look period.
Yeah, we're gonna make it vintage. So we're gonna do 2 cuts. So we're just gonna take a bare minimal off to clean it up and take care of the 15 thousandths that had a parallel. And so don't have too much wobble. Rotating don't like wobble.
Nah. Alright, this is our second cut. This is a final cut, right, Rob?
That should be the final cut, yeah. That'll dress that off. That was just a rough cast on the side, even though it's plated.
Right.
I think it'll look a little better if it's machined all around. I'm not going to do anything with the rim. You know, it's got a radius on the corner. I guess we'll just let that go. That's still going to be a cast finish, but it's got plating on it, so we'll let that go. We'll look it over. We'll do the same to the other side.
Alright, the one side's already completely finished. Now we're just facing off this side. This is the first cut. That's definitely going to take out the wobble.
Hey, rotate. How much wobble is that?
Looks like you took out a couple of 100,000.
A couple 100,000?
Yeah. We work in my shop. We work to the millions. I don't know what you work at here.
Millions dollar? Millions of a dollar? I work to a million of a dollar too. It doesn't leave you much. Now that was about a 10,000 wobble.
Was it?
I can't see that 10,000 wobble. My round thing with numbers on it tells me there's 10,000 wobble in there. Just to clean it up there. So I'm going to take another 5,000 off to clean up the wobble.
I'll see what you got there, buddy.
Well, we faced them off. We opened up the hole. There was a previous hole in there, so to hide that, we're going to put the keyway right there, so no one will ever know there was a hole there.
I was hoping that's where it went. Yeah.
So
That's
it
awesome.
even lines up with the hole here, so it even looks like we planned it that way, even though we didn't.
Oh, we did. Nobody knows we did.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, now we're going to get some broach tools.
Let's broach it.
All right.
All right, we're going to broach a keyway in that. They call it broaching, and this is the set that you need.
Yeah, this is various different widths and bushings and stuff and shims and combination. You can cut a whole lot of different stuff with this. This is a pretty basic set. So the bushing goes in there like so. We're going to line it up with that previous hole so we can get rid of that hole. And we're going to pick up the 3/16 broach. Which there should be a good one in here. Got a couple of them here, so we'll use the sharper of all of them. That's a 5/32. I'm not use that one. All right, so we're going to use that one there. We're going to put that in there like so. And I'll line it over top of that previous hole. Get that started.
Okay. How many ton is this? Look at the size of
It's
this.
like 18 ton.
18-ton
So this
arbor
is a
press.
compound lever. It's got a whole back gear set up in here. It gives you a lot of leverage because it rocks on a pin. And I've actually cut a 5/8 broach with this thing.
Oh, yeah? I was going to say, you're not even going to feel that.
You know, this I don't even need that. I just push with the hand feel.
All right.
Cast iron's pretty soft anyway, so I'm going to put that in there like so. We're going to run this handle down. And it's very easy to get crooked and break things, so we're going to very carefully not break it so everyone can see it not break.
Right.
So we're going to slowly push that through. Reach underneath and catch it as it comes through.
Okay, and that only took out a little bit, right?
I took out one. There's shims that go behind it because you can't do it all in one pass. So
right.
It's going to cut about half of the 3/16 key. Is going to cut about 3/32 out roughly. So we're going to.
Right. So then now he's going to do. He gets a shim.
And each one kind of has a shim. You got to look at it. See the one that says 3/16, and you put that shim in there like so. And then.
Then repeat the procedure.
Yeah, now this is cast iron. We usually cut cast iron dry, but if this was steel, we could put an oil on it.
Right.
Or you could, big cast iron works. Sometimes soda water or seltzer water works as a good lubricant.
Wonder why.
I don't know. That's in all the old machine shop books. None of the new ones, but I have tried it. I do thread a lot of cast iron pipe threads, in various castings and stuff, and I use seltzer water. You dump a little seltzer water on a tap, and it does a nice job because oil actually balls everything up. And the trouble with cast iron is you go to back the tap out, the little fines get behind the thread because they got a clearance grounded to them, and they break stuff or rip threads out.
I'll have to try that.
So that's an old machine shop trick. Probably goes back to 1800s. So now we got a keyway in there.
Okay, is that the full keyway that we
The
want?
full keyway.
Okay,
So we
that's
got
not bad. 2 passes.
2 passes, and now we got a nice keyway to go. Now we're gonna put a key in the crankshaft.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, it's something so simple like that when you got the right tools.
Now, years ago, they used to do this on a shaper, and people used to actually do it on a lathe. You'd have it still in the lathe, if I could have left it there, and you'd have made a whole little broaching tool with that 3/16. Crank the carriage back and forth, cut a key out. I have done that on some stuff for, you know, oddball things, or you need a grease groove or something in a bushing. But yeah, there's a bunch of different ways of doing this, but this happens to be a, you know, pretty well standard way now. These things have probably been out probably 100 years now.
Right.
You know, so
okay. Now we're gonna put the keyway in the crankshaft. That should be interesting.
yeah, we got a little setup to do on that.
Yeah. All right, we're setting up the
mill here, so we're just going to get ourselves a parallel set underneath that. I guess this little block will do for now. So we want the key on this side. Where do we want the key? First thing
on that side. You're on the right side, yeah.
Okay, so we want a blind key. You're thinking about if you want to use a gib key later. We got to go to the end.
Right.
The other thing too is we got to check to see how hard this piece is, because we may have issues.
And it's not hard at all.
It's not hard at all.
That cut through so easy.
Okay, you never know.
Yeah.
Something's might heat treated, and you'll think this whole thing through, and all of a sudden, crap.
Right.
And now I got to do something different.
All right, let's go figure out how we want that key.
All right, so we're gonna
Good.
we're gonna center this up now. We're gonna use an edge finder. I got a 3/8 collet. Try it on the high speed side here. Works a little better. Pop that down in the middle there. We're going to pick up the back jaw of the vise. As soon as that little thing wobbles over, the Road King here knows about wobble. Is that wobbling, Road King?
Let me see.
Is that wobbling?
A little bit.
Okay, so that's good. Now we're on the edge of that. We're going to zero our readout. We're going to back up 100 thousandths, which is half the diameter of the end of that. We're going to zero it again. Now we know that's 7/8, half of 7/8, 7/16, 437.5-ish. A little under because there, so we're going to call it 437. Then we're going to lock it. Now we're on halfway in that shaft. Turn it off, and we're going to put an end mill in it.
Okay.
All right, so we'll get an end mill. And we're going to pick up the top of the piece, zero our dial, cut the 3/16 key, so we know it's 3/32 down in the shaft, plus the top of the little radius on there. We got this nice little old chart I've been using for years. So we find a 7/8 shaft with a 3/16 keyway. Tells me we got about 10 thousandths difference. So 3/32 plus 10 will give us about 104 thousandths depth to the bottom. So we know how far to cut. So we're not going to take it all in one pass. So we'll take like 30 thousandths, 35 thousandths some. Come to the end here, and get approximate there. We're going to zero our readout. And we know we want to make the key about 1 3/4 long, so we stop at 1 3/4 on the readout. So we'll kind of very carefully go along here. The crankshaft's cutting like it's a piece of cast iron. I wonder if it is.
Oh yeah? Huh. Well, it is Maytag, so I don't know.
I don't know.
Making dust. Was this final cut?
Final cut. We're to depth. Just mill this along there. Before we take it out of the vise, we'll make sure that piece of 3/16 key stock goes in there nice. Otherwise, it's a real pain in the butt to put it back in and pick it back up.
Yeah.
Especially if you miss by a 2 thousandths or something. So it's always good to check what you're doing. Or you can set a couple gauge blocks in there or something.
How's it fit?
Fits.
Look at that.
It's in there. Alright, now the next test is we'll stick it in the flywheel. Find out if she all lines up.